Recently, a video went viral of a dealer and a customer having a major interaction about comps and about what they were going to do as far as a trade value. We have taken a look at that video. We've analyzed some of their statements, and we're going to spend some time going through about 5 different points each person makes, the dealer and the customer. And we're going to give you our opinion of what you can expect when you're interacting with dealers at shows, what seems reasonable and what does not. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And I'll give you one of the statements that the dealer made on this video that went viral. It was covered by several people. The dealer made a statement. He was very clear. Now, I do want to be clear about this. I feel like the dealer definitely seemed to have a negative attitude. So in any of our things where we're defending the dealer, I'm not trying to make it sound like the dealer didn't have a negative attitude, but I could see how the dealer could have possibly taken the customer a little pushy. So here is one of the statements. Number one, I'm not selling at comps. I'm not selling at comps. So that is the dealer saying, I'm not selling at comps. So Bill, I want you to just tell me what your feelings are if you were talking to a dealer at a show and he said, I'm not selling at comps.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so a lot of these people, especially what he pulled out of the showcase, he was pulling out Kobe, he was pulling out Jordan. So this is the hottest stuff that's in the market and most liquid right now on every platform. It doesn't matter if it's eBay, it doesn't matter if whatnot, Fanatics Live, any place that is Golden, anything. You put up really good Jordan stuff, really good Kobe stuff, it's selling. So the guy asked about it, and the guy's like, I'm not selling at comps. Then you walk off. There's nothing really to say. That's the end of the conversation. Because he already told you he's not going to come down to a price that, if he had $450 on a card and he expected to get $450 for that card, there's no more conversation to do. You weren't dealing with a newer dealer. The guy was a little bit older. I would say my guess he's a little bit older than me. I'm guessing he's 50s to 60s. Doesn't look like he needs the money. It wasn't like he was like, oh man, I need you to buy this. Like you see at shows and it's crazy. Hey, well, you need to buy it. No, he had cards in his showcase. He had good cards in the showcase. But that doesn't mean he has to sell them cheap. And then he told the customer that he paid $425 for the card. One, that's privy information, and he didn't have to say that. I don't think he did. Personally, I think that was defending that price. You as a dealer do not have to defend your price, but you're waiting for someone to buy it. But when that guy, and then the customer pointed out that, well, I wanted to figure out what your trade value was so you could go through my stuff. Well, that guy didn't say, if that happens to me at a show and I'm at $450 cash, you're giving me $600 in trade. No, I don't. I'm setting it up trying to sell it. That is a cash price. That is not a trade price. And a lot of these flippers or all these people in the modern thing are finding people that are off their budget, overspent, need to pay their mortgage because they blew their money on whatnot, doing breaks or whatever, or doing all the breaks here at GameTime Collectibles with Mayhem Mike. Anyways, yeah, that dealer was not wrong to hide to this price, but that guy kept on pushing. And then he's like, I want to see this, I want to see this, and see this. No, there's no reason for me to have half my showcase out. And then you try to comp it because you already know what I want. So, anyways, the dealer was less than nice about it, but the customer was more than pushy. And you do that to me, you can F off. Honestly, you're going to go down the road. I did that the last show. We were at the Circleville High School. I didn't even put my stuff out till 10 o'clock because I wasn't dealing with the flippers that are coming and be like, oh, I'll buy this and this. And then the first person came up, said, I'll give you 80% on your stuff. And I said, no, thank you. Because I already comped everything the night before. I knew what I wanted for it. If it's $100 card, am I going to give you $5 off? Maybe. But it's a Otani rookie, so I don't really have to. You're wanting to buy my card. I'm not saying I need to sell you my card. So
Okay. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, this statement made by the dealer, "I'm not selling my cards at comp."
Hmm.
That statement, for the most part, I agree with Bill. One thing he did point out, and Bill's correct, that the younger gentleman, we'll call him a kid, but the younger gentleman
Yeah.
was trying to get some of the hottest cards in the guy's case. Now, the dealer is making the statement, "I'm not selling at comp." Well, that is his choice.
Hmm.
He's allowed to do that, but he can't act like comps don't exist. If you want to eliminate a few of the cards in your case, that's fine.
Hmm.
If you say, "Hey, I'm not going to let a few of these be reflected in comp pricing. I'm holding on to these," or
Yeah.
whatever. But for the majority of your cards, you have to realize that comps exist. And now it's not just eBay and looking for the search. There's card ladders and things like that
Yeah.
now that people can use, and it's out there. Everybody has a computer in their
Hmm.
hand now. And so you can't pretend like it doesn't exist. So, yes, it's your right, but I question how much you're selling if
Hmm.
the overwhelming majority
Hmm.
of your cards you are pretending that
Hmm.
comps do not
So one
exist.
other thing I would add to that is that guy. We don't know if that dealer's a regular dealer, if he does it every week, if he does it every month. That may be the first time he set up, you know. But I can tell you that the customer for sure was trying to get him to lower his prices
Mhm.
and then try to trade him stuff. Well, that guy does that a lot. I can tell you because you
Mhm.
don't have that plan formed out in advance
Mhm.
if you don't already trying to execute it.
Mhm.
If you have a plan, you're trying to execute it. Anyways, that guy doesn't have to sell anything he doesn't want to for a price he doesn't want to. Now I may keep it, but that it didn't look like that guy had to sell it.
Yeah. So you kind of touched on the second one, and I think this one's pretty easy for us to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we agree that the dealer in this viral video was a little bit, came off a little grumpy, a little harsh, a little short.
Yeah.
But when the customer began to want to stack up this card and that card and
Mm-hmm.
this card, he said, "I don't want to stack up $4,000 worth of cards on our case
Mm-hmm.
and begin to figure this out."
Yes.
I totally feel like, and I'll ask your opinion next, I totally feel like that is within the dealer's right to say, "I do not want to go through all this," especially if you're being aggressive and it doesn't look like it's going
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. He's not going to give you a bulk deal if he's not interested in getting to the
The low
comp
comp
level.
that
Yeah,
you're trying to push.
yeah. So I think it's totally within his right, even security wise, to not want to stack up 4K worth of cards on the case. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think?
So I would say this new generation, and I'm not harping that you guys aren't bad guys. I'm honestly not saying it, but some are more aggressive than others. And when you come in, and it makes sense, like Brent Shannon Sports Cards, a friend of ours. Ryan Johnson, card collector too, friend of ours. Logan Harris, great sports card, friend of ours. They go up and they're like, "Hey, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this." They cleared the showcase. You know what? All those people that we see videos of clear their showcase out and they start comping it out. That's fine. They're not going to put a video up where they went up and they're like, "Hey, I want this and this and this," and the guy goes, "No, no, I'm not pulling out all my cards and try to comp them all and give you a better deal. This is what I want." So you're almost like the immovable object against the irresistible force. No, you can't make me sell something I don't want to sell. So no, I think that at that point that customer this video shouldn't have went viral because that customer should have walked on because
Mm-hmm.
he already had a guy that wasn't wanting to sell it and wasn't wanting to give it. One other thing I'll mention. Okay, so you have comps on all this stuff like you from eBay. For card ladder, you have all you can use all the comps that they give. You can give for golden, you can use all these places to comp, but you know what you can't comp is whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody thinks on their whatnot stream they can get a lot more because a lot of people overpay because they're not buying off eBay and they're not buying here, they're not buying there, you know, that is the one true thing that I hate about the hobby right now. Because when I buy stuff on a whatnot auction, it just gives me lot number. It doesn't say, "Hey, this card you paid $30." It goes into registry, even though the last one on eBay sold for 25.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a fictional market also for that. So if that guy's trying to move it on whatnot, it's like, "Hey, the last one on whatnot went for 500."
Mm-hmm.
Then he's figuring he's trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
But in all said and done, the guy should have walked on.
Okay. I agree. So here we'll go to another one. And again, this is a viral video that took place between a customer and a dealer. You can look this video up. Just
Hmm.
this was within the last week. And this is the customer statement now. He says, "What, looking at the cards, what are these based on?"
Hmm.
So all I can assume from that question is that this dealer had marked his cards.
Hmm.
Okay, so if it is what are these prices based on, if that's the question from the customer to the dealer, what are your thoughts about that?
Okay.
About if there's a clearly
So
marked
when
price.
so when you come up to my table, now like I said, I don't move a whole lot of liquid cards. Now I do have a currently I have a whole showcase full of Atanis rookies I put out yesterday. Nobody's really came in to buy them. I got an offer at 80% across the board, but I'm going to let some customers in. Anyways, when you come to me and you ask me what I have this based off of, I got it based off I want $450 for that card. I don't care what a comp says. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You are not dealing with somebody that's got a showcase full of downtowns and kabooms and had to buy a case and they spent $1,200 on a case and they got to pay the rent and they got to sell the case. No, no, no. And you know that you can't get Jordan cards and Kobe cards in Jersey out of any product currently right now. You can get Kobe or you can get Jordans out of what some upper deck products, the metal Skybox metal or whatever, or you can get out of Goodwin Champions. But he doesn't have any cards, or maybe golf, but you don't have any Jordan cards coming out at all. So there's a premium. And Kobe does not have currently a deal with any major company for his like this because he's deceased. His wife or family or whoever owns his um, uh, estate has never worked out a thing with the company. So you were asking for the hottest stuff because he thought he was going to make money off of
Mm-hmm.
it. And as soon as you know the plans are not working out,
Mm-hmm.
there was plenty of tables at that show,
Mm-hmm.
but he thought that that was the guy that he was going to key on, and that's the guy he was going to make the big score on. You know what? You were wrong.
Yeah. So going back again to this viral video, and here is the question between it's an interaction between a dealer and a customer. And here's the question the customer asked: What are these based on? And again, we assume these were priced cards. So here is the number one thing that I would want to point out. And there's just 2 points that I have. One, you're talking to the dealer. You are the customer, he's the dealer. You do not have the upper hand. He always has the upper hand. He paid to have the upper hand. Now, I mean that in various levels. And the problem right now in the card market, one of the big problems is everybody's a dealer. I do 2 Whatnot streams a week. Great. Good for you. I did $3,000 on Whatnot last night. Hooray, I guess.
I have my Zion box
Yeah,
full of stuff that you think is cash. You're like, I got $1,500
yeah,
in cards here. It's like, no, you have cardboard
yeah.
in a box.
And,
That's what you have.
yes, and absolutely. I think, does it make you a dealer because you go and you set up at a $35 table show here and there? I don't know if that makes you a dealer, but when you start talking about Ship Shawana and
Yes.
what you pay to set up there, when you start talking about the National Card Show, when you start talking about you own a shop,
Yes.
you're the dealer and you are in the default position as the customer, the dealer should always get the upper hand. So the fact that you think that you're on equal terms with this dealer is a little dis,
This
dis,
heart.
disheartening. Yeah. It,
Yes.
yeah, it's a little disheartening to me. And here's the thing that the customer should have realized. If these are priced within 1 or 2 interactions with this guy on cards, he should have realized something. He is sourcing at the wrong place.
Yep.
He is dealing with the wrong person. Your idea of how to source for Whatnot probably shouldn't be go to your local show or go to a big show, especially, and try to buy off a person who set up there, took the time to waste their day, price cards to try to get it so you can make money. So here's
Yes.
the thing. What are these based on? It doesn't matter what he's based them on, but he's taken the
Absolutely.
time to price them, and that price means something to him. So on this one, I give the win to the dealer on that specific
Yes.
point.
Yep.
Okay. So this is another statement. I'm going to let you answer this one first or respond to this. This is again the dealer. He says comps are not reflected in many different things, like what takes place out at shows.
So I agree and disagree to a point. There we have a good friend of ours, and Thomas Fisher, Gemini Sports Cards,
Mhm.
that literally put a note in, like a thing in a showcase at the National, and he's got the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 boxes, which is a very big hit. Anyways, don't try to steal us thunder. It is a good, great system. Anyways, and he's copyrighted, so you can't. Anyways, he had a sign that said, "Comped prices are for cards that are already sold."
Mhm.
Now, these cards in my showcase are now currently for sale.
Mhm.
Now, I can take that comp in. Now, that's just what it said, and he had a lot of people blah 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 blah. This and his cards. He had gorgeous cards in his showcase.
Mhm.
But if you know that going up, and he's already got a price, and you think his comp's off, then you're not buying it. It's not um, there's no, you're not buying it because you don't, either there's two reasons you buy stuff. You either buy it to keep, which none of you do, hardly ever, except if you're a collector, or two, you're buying it to flip.
Mhm.
And if you're buying it to keep, whatever, if it's an Eddie George, whatever I have to pay for, I have to pay for it. I'm not going to complain.
Mhm.
But if it's something I'm selling or something I'm reselling, yes, I feel that I want some room on it.
Mhm.
But that guy don't have to give it to me. That guy's not my dad. He's not my mom. He's not my brother.
Mhm.
You know, that guy was, and it was like, I mean, I kind of felt like if the dealer would have been 20 years younger, he would have dotted his I, because it's like, wait, you can't come to the show and over, over,
Assert yourself,
assert yourself
basically.
in a position better than I am.
Mhm.
You are not a dealer,
Mhm.
and you can't tell me how to run my cards.
Mhm.
Now, I will say this: we don't know because there's information that's not out there. But if that guy that has the cards, if that dealer, if he set up 12 months in a row and has not sold that card,
Mhm.
well, there's a problem,
Mhm.
and he probably realizes there's a problem.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's the situation. I think that the guy that was there, and then what makes that guy all of a sudden, because I don't know who the dealer is, I don't know who the customer is, but all of a sudden he's got a camera crew.
Mhm.
Somebody's recording the interaction.
Mhm.
So they either knew that there was going to be a problem in advance,
Mhm.
or he literally, because he's not a big name on the thing. We don't know who he is. I mean, I still don't know who he is. I don't care. He's
Mhm.
he's a guy that's trying to buy cards so he can make money. That's not my job.
Mhm.
My job is to, I collect a lot, but I sell a lot too. My job is to sell cards that I think that I can make money on and keep the ones I want to keep. You cannot come in and dictate to me my prices in my shop
Mhm.
at a show. Basically, there's no place in the world, unless you're, and we already know he's already trying to get a cheaper price.
Mhm.
It's not like he was like, hey, well, I like your comps, but I'd work, if I buy a bunch of stuff, can we work out a better deal? And the guy's basically like, yeah, we're not going to comp out every card.
Mhm.
We're not going to comp out every card, blah, blah, blah. It's a part where you walk on. The
Yeah.
video should have ended there. That
Mhm.
transaction should have been about 2 minutes,
Mhm.
not carried on because this guy was out. That dealer was outrageous. He was
Mhm.
unrealistic. He wanted
Mhm.
crazy prices. You know what? There's probably somebody out there that it's not the flipper that was sitting there trying to resell it, but that customer that's a collector that came in later that day and probably bought that card. Yeah, you know what? He was glad you wasn't. He was glad you didn't buy it.
Mhm.
There is a big thing right now, and it's kind of, I guess because I'm kind of privy to it, is not something to complain about. But at shows that start at 9 o'clock, I'm usually there at 7 o'clock, and I can get in. I usually walk in or roll in right now, currently in my chair. Um, I'm I'm buying people. I'm buying cards. I'm buying tables. I'm buying showcases. There's a lot of people doing that. Thomas Fisher does. Bart and Tony, all the people we know. If you can get into a show early, you're trying to buy out stuff before the customers or the collectors come in and work out a deal. those customers that are collectors, they're not going to haggle as much as you are because they're not going to be like, oh, I need to make money. So, anyways, that's a here nor there. But
Mhm.
no, this whole thing could have been avoided
Mhm.
if the customer wouldn't have thought that he put on his big boy pants that day
Mhm.
and was going to make this guy come down to his comp.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. 100%. So my response, on this will be a little bit shorter because Bill covered a lot of it. But comps don't reflect show sales.
mhm.
That's a comment from the dealer. So I'm going to answer this two ways. He's 100% right now, and he's 90% right later. And what I mean by that is we are seeing record show attendance right now. There is a massive influx of new collectors into this hobby. And although we pointed out earlier that there's access to all these comps, there are literally some genuine collectors that are coming to this hobby that don't care about comps. They see a cool card of a cool guy they want and they're willing to pay it. And right now, he's right in that there's for every person that walks by their table and says, I'll pass, there's five more that weren't there probably a year ago.
Mhm.
So he's basically 100% right.
Yeah.
Now, by the end of this year, by fall, this great show swelling that we see, I personally think is going to begin to subside. So he's kind of 90% right later because his attitude in this entire thing, although I've defended the dealer, is certainly not an attitude that I'd want to portray and
Mhm.
not an attitude that would get me customers or keep me
Yeah.
customers. So I think he's got to be a little bit more farsighted that what's really hot right now may not be in the future,
Mhm.
and he needs to build a relationship with this
Yeah.
customer
On
or with some customers.
unfortunately, he was picking out the hottest stuff
Mm-hmm.
currently right now and trying to push him down on
Mm-hmm.
it. And he doesn't have to do that. And there's not a I agree the future may change,
Mm-hmm.
but if I don't need to sell it, I don't need to sell it. And
Mm-hmm.
some of those people that are collectors, like if they see the card on eBay for $100,
Mm-hmm.
they know it's possible they're going to get them for shipping, which is going to be $7, $6 or $7,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to pay tax on it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another $6 or $7.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like 15 to 20 bucks more. But if I sell it for $100, what it is on eBay, and I sell it to you cash, and it's a cash transaction, done deal,
Mm-hmm.
they're happy that they feel like they saved 20 bucks. So the flippers need to worry about the collectors that are buying the better stuff because the collectors are not buying it to flip it today. They may buy it in intentions to flip in the future,
Mm-hmm.
but not today, and they can hold it. So and then at that point, it's if you pick the right person or you pick the right card. So
Yep.
um,
Yep, I agree. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, we covered the whole idea of this viral video between a
mhm,
dealer and a customer, and we covered some points here. But remember to check out our other YouTube videos. We've got something like maybe 150
mhm,
long form
long
videos.
form.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of clips that are short form. Check us out on other social media, and in the future, be expecting more YouTube, maybe a step up
Maybe more
in quality.
professional.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more professional.
And on our TikTok, our Instagram, OnlyFans.
Yeah, yeah.